Welcome back, everyone, here to the Rally Cry halftime shows. We're now in our halfway point of the day, and that also means that we have a little bit of a check-in to do. But
if we're in the halfway point of today, and today is the halfway point of the week, is this like the true halfway point of everything?
The Half-Life.
No, the true halfway point of everything comes after tomorrow, where we're halfway through the regular season.
That's true. Now, I do want to go ahead and focus in on the previous game, though, because we had some crazy moments, but ended up in a very interesting end, I guess, as Cubby starts off with the Baron steal here.
Yeah.
That actually was pretty hype.
It's a good steal by UG. For me, the mistake was that FlyQuest should never be in this position. They hit the Baron and were forced out. I think that after they found a couple picks, they should have reset and played for the Dragon instead. The death timer on Zamudo and the fact that he had TP wasn't enough to actually start this, because when Zamudo TP'd in, he landed like 3 shock blasts before this fight even started. That really made it hard for FlyQuest to even be around given their health bars. And you can see that last one in the end, take down Masu as... yeah, that was the first one, and then the second one. Beautiful angle set up here, Mad Magical.
Yeah, Donbray has the perfect angle, and they have no idea. The moment they even think that they have to engage, like, oh, we've got Zamudo, the poke. Like, oh, wait a minute, there's a recon.
It was, it was a bit of a situation there for sure, but also really nice play from Lens. I know you were highlighting before going into the series, like, the mechanical plays within the team fights. And we got to see a lot of that in this first game. I really wanted to highlight that for Wildcard, because going into a game, too, where we talked a lot about the meta discrepancies, what both these teams have had a lot of diversity with, it was Wildcard who, plain and simple, kind of came out and smashed Cubby.
Lens is an AD that's going to flash in. And when you have teammates that can make a mess around him, we have seen Lens have some really nice moments from that. Not just this split, in past splits. Is props to him and Donbray. I mean, they really went hard in that laning phase on their own, by the way, as
that was
Keel
the 2v2.
Yeah, Keel was and UG were kind of elsewhere, taking each other's camps or just visiting top. And I gotta praise Lens and Donbray. Donbray's been a new addition, but I think that he's looking good, especially a little bit better on engagers. And Masu Winsome are a bot lane that we thought really highly of. This was a team that when they stepped in, they went, I think it was 16-5 last split once Masu and Winsome joined this FlyQuest Challenger squad.
Yes.
And really buffed up that team. So taking down them in a matchup where you do have priority and favor is a big deal.
It's pretty cool. That was the game 1 breakdown. Talked a lot about it. Now we got to move forward. We're going to try to get to our halftime segments here. But first and foremost, we got to check into our bingo card, as we have had some movement, or I guess an addition, rather.
Was a steal.
There was a steal. We finally got it. Look at that. Oh,
we have to see a Shiv.
Smite steal.
We have to see a Shiv.
I can't believe it.
That has been crazy. That has been the craziest thing to me, is there has yet to be a single static Shiv. Like, how is that possible? We saw that all the time yesterday. Literally every game had at least 2 of them. And today, not one.
Not one. But we are getting a little bit closer to our bingo, which, still got to figure out what that goal is going to be. No, I have a plan. I have a plan. But we are going to get to our halftime segment here after we've done our little bingo check-in. As I was once a zookeeper at the Buffalo
I thought you were going to say
I have a little bit of animal background. So I want to bring you guys on a bit of a safari. What? Magical.
You should have been like, when I was a young warthog. That would have been the best way to
answer
that.
We're going to move forward because we're running out of time. We got to spend so much time talking about the game. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and talk about some animals. I'm going to teach you. I've got 4 animals chosen. A couple of them are favorite animals of players. A couple of them are themed because I didn't get any player responses. But we'll see which ones are which. I've chosen 2 players from each side with those 4 animals. You guys got to attribute which player to which animal. So I'll go ahead and bring up the first one now. What was that?
Will there be a warthog?
Maybe. There is always the option. There is always the possibility. Any exotic animal, by the way. So our first and foremost one, the quote that comes with this one was, this is their favorite animal because it is 1v9. That is the reason.
Is it a silverback?
It is a gorilla in general, but yes, it is. This particular one is the silverback.
Is it UG?
Gorilla. It is not.
Oh.
So
now I'm going to give you some facts while we go through it, while you guys think a little bit here, because we got to give some animal facts for the zookeeper. Are at least 6 times stronger than humans. That's what gorillas are.
Only 6.
That's insane.
I feel like
At
6
least
is not
6 times.
Okay,
At
I'm like,
least.
I feel like that's not a strong gorilla if it's only 6.
Yeah, you know. They're mostly herbivores, and they typically don't need water. Do you want to know why?
Well, yeah, actually.
It's because they eat so much bamboo, so much grass, so much leaves, so much things with dew on it in the morning that they get all their water from their food supply. They also live together in groups, bands, and their nose prints are as unique as human fingerprints.
Really?
Which is pretty cool. And again, the quote, favorite animal because they're 1v9.
Masu.
Faisal.
Wrong and correct. Faisal is the gorilla lover here. Because they are 1v9, and honestly, he's a little bit 1v9 sometimes in that top lane. So we got a lot of strength there with when he finds those carry potentials, and maybe a little bit of a gorilla comes out of him.
Honestly, I feel like there's a good skin potential, like having like a gorilla scion skin where you just like barrel down the lane, you know?
That actually would be really cool.
True. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next one then, as we do have the Golden Eagle, which is of a particular species that is found all around the world, mostly in the northern hemisphere, but can be found across North America, can be found in Europe, and also in Asia. And one of our players, they are attributed to this animal as well.
Attributed?
Yeah, you know, no response means they're attributed to this animal. This is what I've chosen for them.
Oh, okay.
Typically go for marmots, bunnies, and small prey, but have been recorded attacking deer and other large mammals, or even coyotes and medium-sized mammals.
I'm going to guess that you gave this to Sligo.
Nope. Usually found in pairs, so, you know, there's usually 2 of them. They're usually centered in 2. Look at that! You got it, my dude!
The moment you said it, it's like you're attributing it to someone. You said they're in pairs.
Exactly.
I'm like, it's got to be Lens.
One of the only raptors in the world with feathers down to their toes, by the way. Also, just a little funny fact again. This is attributed to Lens because, first and foremost, he was from Turkey. But secondly, golden eagles are very, very heavily found in Turkey, but also very heavily found throughout the northern hemisphere. And they're one of the most popular national birds in the world, which I think is hilarious. But Lens is the golden eagle. He was also playing Xayah, so that's initially why I chose it.
See, that's why I guessed Sligo, because he's in a 0 player too. Our mid laners are 0 players. But
it was close. It was close. So you got Lens. So far we got Faisal, we got Lens. Then we got a serval cat.
Oh, a serval cat.
Coming through here for our third animal. The longest legs of any cat. Nope. Of any cat relative to their body size. Cubby, you're just out of this one, man. You're not about the animals, all right? As a zookeeper before, you'd be out of a job right now.
Serval cat.
Largest ears of any cat. Remember, this is attributing to one of our players, maybe one of their favorites.
Okay.
No, maybe one of their favorites, maybe attributing. Okay. So they can also jump 9 feet straight up or 12 feet horizontally. Now think about that physically. That is insane. Like, actually insane.
Wow.
They stalk and pounce as their hunting technique. So they do not try and chase. They do not try and do any other sort of things. They don't try to wrestle. They try to go for the quick kill. And the quote on this one, they look like cats with big ears. They're spotted like cheetah and razor sharp claws. Cute, but might lose a hand if you're trying to pet it.
Deal.
You're wrong.
Damn.
Any guesses? The serval cat.
Zamuda.
Wrong. I've just got to give it to you guys. It was Masu as our serval cat lover, saying, you know, they have big ears.
Now, did he pick it or did you attribute it?
He picked it.
They do have big ears, and the big ears are cute.
They it's crazy how their body size and proportions are like some of the craziest things in the animal kingdom. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the last one since we're running out of time here. The last one is the Ursuri boar.
Warthog!
It is a wild boar. You got your want magical. We did not have a warthog, but we do have a wild boar.
Close enough.
They are the largest boar species in the world, natively from Russia.
Keel.
Can weigh up to 600 pounds, and it is a 600-pound keel right there.
Yeah,
you are correct. Cubby coming in clutch here. They eat primarily berries, roots, and worms, but they are scavengers. They're typically nocturnal, and they can run almost 30 miles per hour.
What?
I picked it because you guys said Juwani.
30 miles per hour.
Yeah,
wow.
30 miles. Imagine that thing running at you 30 miles an hour.
Boar are scary. Boar are really scary.
So that was our Challenger Safari here for our Rally Cry halftime show. We had Faisal as his favorite animal was the gorilla. We had Lens, who I attributed the golden eagle to. We had Masu, who had his favorite animal of the serval cat. And then finally Keel with the Usuri boar, the wildest, oldest boar out there as well. So I'd love to see some stuff for Wildcard in game number 1. But the question remains, what will we see out of FlyQuest in game 2? As we have draft ready to go, guys, let's go ahead and see what happens.
Alrighty, thank you, Mazel. I'm glad we had a little bit of tour, and it might not have been an actual Warthog, but it's close enough for me, and I'll take that. Is going into this game, we have to kind of talk about I think the elephant in the room on this one. Both teams are now tied in the standings. Whoever wins this one will be that one game over the other.
And I want to talk about Keel coming into this game. I think that Keel was the big difference maker in the last one. And I checked Twitter in between the games, a bit of a discussion from the head coach of TLC Spawn, actually asking, is Keel the most underrated player that we have in Challengers? So did some digging. I do want to highlight that Keel is currently leading all junglers in gold diff at 15 at 392. Okay. Also leading all junglers in XP diff at 15. Leading his team in KP, tied second amongst junglers in KDA, and has played 8 different champions. Now, I will say that he's leading in damage, but he has 8 games on Kha'Zix Kindred combined, so I'm going to not bring that up because those champions do a lot of damage. But
yeah, I was about to say.
Keel is someone that is so flexible in the jungle, and we've seen some of that flexibility, but he's also a very consistent player. I don't think he always gets credit for that, and he's been really, really strong for Wildcard so far, not only in that game 1, but also in this split. So it's fun kind of looking through the numbers, see where Keel's at. He's pretty damn good so far.
Yeah, I think, we focus a lot on Lens because Lens has been kind of this pop-off marksman. Him and Masu has been a really good conversation. Zamudo being new, Donbray as well, Saligo a consistent mid laner. That Keel oftentimes does get overlooked and has been a big factor for the team. And that's why I think when I was talking before about the different champions that he could play, things like that Bel'Veth that they were busting out towards the end of the spring split just because they could. They're like, Keel has all these different styles that he can go for. It's not just pigeonholed into, I play really good on the early game assassins, or I'm much more about the tank, the front line, or the AP scaling that we initially had seen from Keel.
It's been really sound to see. And I gotta say, Kindred's been left up, and Kindred's a champion that has been a very high priority in this league, and also is 15-7 across Challengers play. But with Kindred up, LeBlanc was also left up. So I think we're gonna get our static shiv, the first one that we have on the day. I think that Keel for sure is gonna answer this LB with a Kindred of their own.
100%.
And Wildcard's gotta have something up their sleeve to deal with this, so they're gonna let it through.
I 100% think that is going to be the play. Take the LeBlanc from mid lane. It's also Sparks playing that. Take the Aphelios and Kindred. I think you're also right on both of those marks here for Wildcard, but because both of them would honestly be really strong for the composition, and having something. Yep, there's that Aphelios. We know Lens loves to play that. Same with Masu. Both of them play a lot of Aphelios. So taking that away from Masu is also a good take.
I think Masu's been a very sound Aphelios so far this split. Also, Lens will be his 7th game of Aphelios, his most played as well. And the pairings, you can find pairings later, which is why I would kind of like to see the Kindred. Also, if you do take the Kindred, it does add a lot of pressure to actually have Milio. But okay, no, Kindred's actually going to get passed up, so we will have the Kindred taken, or I assume taken by Yuji.
It should be taken here by Yuji. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Again, one of those effective 4th bans that is a takeaway from Keel, but it's also Yuji. Yuji's really good on a lot of these 80 jungles as well.
What does Keel have cooked up for this one? And why do I feel like it's a Poppy?
Oh, that's good. Oh man, the Poppy flex. We did talk about that. They could take that. They could take that, and then also we have this from FlyQuest. So the Poppy looking less likely because you don't want to flex that Poppy now into the top lane, not against an Olaf.
Yeah, you kind of get ran down by Olaf in the top lane. So if Poppy is selected, it's in jungle.
Yeah, 100%, no flex.
Yeah, that's it. So Zamudo, we'll see what he has prepped for that Olaf, as a lot of options as Wildcard. They have that bot lane slam, but now they have to take one thing to match, so it will actually be the Syndra. This can keep the Kindred at bay.
Kindred and LeBlanc.
Yeah, you can kind of walk away from the Olaf, so curious. I think Wildcard, I almost want to see Kha'Zix taken away. I think that Keel's Kha'Zix has been really sound. You can kind of 2v2 with Syndra. And I really like the Milio ban, as that synergizes really well with Kindred. As you get the double marksman plus Milio, it's been very strong. So surprised we don't have a Tristana being taken to the LB. I actually really like the Trist matchup, and you would have some control over the Amazer's fight with the Buster Shot. You could blow someone off and then use that to get a kill. So, but Syndra, definitely a favorite of Saliga's. So he will be picking that one up again. And yeah, Poppy taking away.
Taking that away, just making it a lot easier for Yuji. It 100% would be for kill. You never would want to play Poppy into Olaf. That's not going to be fun ever. But looking at these bans and trying to figure out exactly what you want to take away from FlyQuest. They've taken that Melio. I wonder if they ban Alistar too, something that typically is pretty good into Rel.
It would also give you a lot of control over the Amazer's fight too. So I would like that ban. Good call, man, Magical. As that will be taken off. I'm breaking like all the rules here, like putting my face or my hands in front of my face, touching my face like on camera, just because I
have the notebook that I
actually am really curious about where things go. This is a draft that's slightly in uncharted territories. This is our first week on 13-12. We've seen a lot more teams taking the top side with the first 3 picks, which has been interesting to see. So Sejuani taken off the board from Kiel. That Kha'Zix is untouched. I think Kha'Zix gives you. So I like Kha'Zix because it allows you to not fully commit into Olaf. And I think the W does have some value against the Kindred LeBlanc, keeping them at bay. So that will be Keel's most played. Now his 5th play on the Kha'Zix so far this split, as he is 2-2. And I would love the Varus taken, as I'm a big fan of the new Varus build. We're going to have double Shiv.
I was about to say, it's double Shiv. This is what we've been expecting. This is what we've been waiting for. Plus, with the new Varus build, you are AP. That does kind of help out because you have a lot of 80 damage on the top side of the map with the Olaf and Kindred. So having that, plus you get really good poke in lane. The one thing is they take that Nautilus with the Varus instead of going for something like maybe even like the Janna that could maybe disrupt. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they had no engage, so I think just taking the Naut. The Rel matchup's actually pretty good in the Naut, but Naut will be looking to Dredgeline to cancel the Rel crash down on the W. But with the changes to Rel, how they moved around some of the points, you can look for stuns into Naut and play off that. So top side going to be the last pick, and it will be that Jax for Zamudo. So a bit of a skill matchup up there in the top side. And honestly, a lot of focus likely to be put down in the top lane, as curious to see what kind of tech Zamudo goes on the Jax. I have seen some grasp Jax to get him out of some lanes. That could be one of the options, but
so Cubby, I will say right now, looking at this draft for both sides, in game 1 it felt like both of them really wanted to have more of that typical front to back, right? You dropped your pen, I heard that.
Oh, it came through.
It came through. I 100% heard that. That's why you gotta get. That's why you have to have the rug. So when you drop the pen, did you hear that?
No.
Exactly.
Well,
that's the problem.
Because we're putting so much focus on this, I'm gonna do the
look at this. Crouch. Look at this. I can just cycle through pens. That's how many pens I have on my desk.
I'm gonna do the crouch down to shame just to emphasize the.
All right, sounds good. You do that. I was gonna bring up the point that I was talking about. Last game, it felt like both teams had very typical front to back. So even if there's a little bit more poke on Wildcard side, this time around, it feels like there's a heavy emphasis on flankers for both sides. Kha'Zix, Jax, great at going for flanks, but same with a LeBlanc and Olaf.
Going to be that lethal tempo Jax on the top side, so looking to find the all-ins, but Faisal's Olaf, he is kind of known for Olaf, man, Magical.
Yes, he is.
And this is actually the first game that Faisal has gotten his hands on the Olaf this split. Now, I will say, so far this season, his Olaf, it is 5-2, and it was the most banned champion against his team last split. So seeing him on the Olaf will be fun.
I think also, it's the most banned champion against them this split, too.
I'm looking forward to seeing it partly as well because he goes for the Trinity Force build into Death's Dance, which I actually think is the correct Olaf build.
As do I, and I think it'll be really interesting to see how this level 1 plays out between Faisal and Zamudo. You talked about the skill matchup between the two, and you gotta imagine, as an Olaf player who plays tons of it, that's why Faisal is very well known on this. He plays a ton of Olaf just on his own as well, that he understands this matchup against Jax, where whoever gets the advantage level 1 is going to control the lane phase all the way through until level 6.
Yeah, expect a brawl up there, as you see Spyrex already teching for that Shiv LeBlanc. So you can use those distortions to maximize the Shiv and try and get that bonus proc at a couple of moments, as one of the cool things you can do with this LB build. Love to see our players been maxing as Winsome get crashed down and take some damage here.
Taking a lot of damage, but throwing that back on to both Lens and Donbray, so a little bit more spread out between the members of Wildcard, while FlyQuest, most of that was onto Winsome, but he does have the pots that he'll be heal up a lot from. A lot more damage, though, onto Lens, and that's kind of the big problem for Wildcard in that bot lane.
I really like Aphelios into, or Varus into Aphelios, I should say, this patch. And so far, Masu's doing a nice job of using those E's to space them. And this will be a big trade.
Yeah, level 2.
Used. Yeah.
Getting the better end of that one. Keeping Lens and Donbray at bay. Pretty much the exact opposite of what happened last game, where it was Lens and Donbray controlling the lane phase, controlling everything of Masu and Winsome, so they really couldn't play the game for a while. This time around, Masu and Winsome, they're feeling very strong. And Keel might, but he's also got to worry about Kindred. That's why he flies over the wall, having to cede control over Wolves.
And this is the matchup. It also is why Keel did the single target camps first.
Oh, flash in. Turret for Spyrex, almost takes him down. Same with the minions. That was getting really close there, Spyrex.
Good use of priority, though, from FlyQuest, as they are able to get Winsome up here, and Sligo's going to greed this. As
well, he's not in danger this time around. The flash had already been burned by Spyrex.
If I'm Spyrex, I'm balding a little bit that Winsome walked back bot then, because he could literally just dredge line the turret and ignite him, and he would die. So not able to find it. Sligo able to get a good greed off there. Ooh. As Zamudo actually got the first 3 waves in, and now they're going to fight over this one. Zamudo's hiding. This is a mark for Yuji, so he would like it. And given mid-priority, Sligo in base, and the TP already having been completed for Spyrex, to the first mark going over to Yuji.
Good play there from FlyQuest, making sure they could get that mark.
He's going to contest the Raptor spawn, too.
Okay, really putting a lot of pressure on Akil on this Kha'Zix to make it really difficult for Kha'Zix to get towards that level 6 when he can actually look for a lot of those assassinations.
Akil did hold on to the flash, but doesn't have level 4 quite yet, so if he is found here...
Yeah, he spotted out. There it is. Akil knows that a fight here, if Yuji gets the kill, it's going to be devastating. In fact, it's going to take a lot of damage just trying to fight back and skirmish. You just can't. For bot lane, Donbray and Lens, they got a lot of pressure, but the flash in is trade 1-for-1 between the bot lanes, but Masu's the one who comes out on top because he got the first blood.
Still pretty low, as Lens able to find some good damage into Masu, but will not be enough to get dove.
Lens has flash. He could actually look for this by himself. Does he want to, though, with the fat minion wave? Yeah, he's going down Keel. They've got the root, the flash in, putting down the claws onto the ADC.
Good recovery from Keel as he sprints bot, able to get a kill for himself. So good punish as Lens gets a plate. That Ferris set very far behind, important for the win con of Wildcard. Taking another look, Lens trying to base. Oh, we're just contesting the fact that it's a reset here for Wildcard. Really nice crash down from Donbray. As you can see, how much damage Varus does early in these lanes, but
so close.
Gonna be enough to take down the Nautilus, as just contesting the base, and the fact that Keel is able to make it in is big.
Yeah, honestly, with how big that minion wave is too, Masu doesn't want to recall because you're losing out on so much gold and experience, but because then you greed for the wave, you stay there, you gave enough time for Lens to rotate down there, picking up his first kill in the game to kind of bounce back this Kha'Zix where he was struggling up against Kindred.
I mean, I understand Masu staying completely. He could not get killed by Aphelios. But the fact that Keel was able to get involved after he was forced out of the top side of the jungle was just great aggression coming out of Keel. As, again, he continues to put together what, I mean, coaches, the coach of the top team in the league calling it the most underrated player of the league. And Keel continues to prove that Spawn, there's some gas behind his words. Looking good.
There's a lot of flexibility with Keel, and that's why I like him as well.
Always, yeah, always has been.
And it really shows there with the flexibility where he was getting invaded and struggling up against Yuji. So he's like, hey, you know, I could make a play bot lane. I could look for this, try to get something for myself. And in fact does. The play works out perfectly. So they get this kill. He comes back and now has a serrated Dirk.
Well, the Nautilus is dangerous here, as it is a good shot.
Is he dangerous? More dangerous than the rest of the team, I guess, with no flash. Yeah, he is. With the crash down, it's going to help out only pick up one, but it's a trade of 2-for-1. FlyQuest trading up.
FlyQuest, I mean, the strength of the composition right now for FlyQuest is big. I like that they're taking fights in the bot side because Vera is just very strong at the moment.
Okay, but that's red-white. You don't want to fight that one, Masu. He realizes, oh, he's in danger.
No.
So it might have been a while, but actually it's going to be an even 2-for-2 trade.
I think Yuji has to... So Yuji went to help mid. Yuji has to go help bot get back in the lane if he actually wants to look at this dragon, as he's going to be fighting over this crab again. Keel jumps right on in.
And Keel knows he's got a lot of power. It's an isolated Kindred. That's why she had to flash away, but guess who's here as well? Len still has red-white. He wants to fight at every moment, and he got the Moonlight Vigil just in time.
Lens and Keel, man, they're stepping up huge. Look at Lens's scoreline this game. He's 2-0-3. Massive after he just took down Masu. And this Aphelios, I mean, we've seen Aphelios be so dominant. This is against a comp where everyone from FlyQuest will be jumping into Lens. Lens' ability to interact with FlyQuest comp, it's really high this game. He is so fed. It's going to be a huge problem for FlyQuest moving forward.
Yeah, as you can tell, that's why Winsome wants to cancel the back, but I love that from Donbray. Making sure no matter what, Lens was getting that recall off so that he gets out of there, but Keel does get invaded. It was a nice sidestep. The chains connect there. That would be death for Keel.
Really nice sidestep there from Keel, as he's going to get forced into the other side of his jungle, as Keel's still kind of reeling for camps, but Keel, he's ahead in gold given where he's been able to get involved early and what he's been able to do.
And not just that, even if he's even in gold, if you have a lot of pressure put down by Yuji, it's Lens. Lens being the one who's benefiting from all of this early action. Even if Masu's right on his heels, the fact you're getting this Aphelios, something that we normally talk about, like level 2 item spike, that's when the power is. He is looking really good in this game.
Let's see if Keel decides to go bot here. Oh, he's actually going to reset. Yuji's feasting on his top side. He just got his 3rd mark against the Raptors, and it's got to be a split map scenario if Wildcard wants to get anything in the jungle. As this will be spotted, it is Q evolve for Keel, so he will shred this dragon.
Look at
mid, going over, but it's a Herald trade.
Yeah, it's going to be a trade. Spirax could maybe disrupt jumping over the wall, but you're flashing forward to try to pick up that kill into Keel. And Keel's going to be fine at the moment, but now the dragon, they kind of want to reset this one. Wait for Keel to get back in so he can heal up with the Void Spikes. He'll get that, but just barely.
Still, Keel's not able to take away the camps from Yuji, as Yuji took away his Raptors and Red. No match from Keel as he just gets the dragon. Obviously, getting a neutral is not at all bad, but it is Yuji is going to get a little bit further ahead off that set of plays, especially given how much local gold you get from taking that Rift Herald.
Yeah, and I think that, like you said, Yuji being on 3 stacks too, going to be a big power spike once you hit the 4th one for Yuji. If he can continue to invest all this time into the jungle of Keel and make sure that he gets these stacks, it's going to make it really difficult for Wildcard to kind of contend with that, especially as we get closer towards these mid-game fights where if you have a lot of peeling tools, you have a lot of utility. That's kind of the power that I think AP Varus also brings, not only burst, but utility to back up a Kindred.
Also, all this is going on, Faisal just left his own devices on that Olaf. He's rather ahead.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I was waiting for that play right there. Try to go for the pull, but Donbray. And this is great to see from Wildcard with having a new player like Donbray. Honestly, I'm really happy to see Donbray back in the Challengers League, because think back to when he subbed in briefly for TSM Academy, you know, quite some time ago, and really hasn't gotten a shout for quite some time. He's always been hanging out in the wings, waiting to get that shot again. And here on Wildcard, he has been getting that shot and has been looking really good with the team. He's really been meshing with all the players.
You know, Wildcard was really excited to have him this split. And Keel, talking with him, said, hey, we don't know about Isles Vista, like how sure that is, so who knows how long Donbray could be with the team. Even better to see him performing at the level he is, given that. But I do want to revisit the jungle, because we've been talking about that a lot. Something I do want to revisit is talked about how Keel was going to fall behind a Yuji. Given that he couldn't answer the bot side camps, take those away. So Yuji just farmed 3 quadrants in that last clear, and look at the items right now. That's an early Trinity Force for the Kindred, and that's going to be really difficult for Wildcard and Keel to match. And this Kindred is very fed at the moment, and going to be a big problem in this game.
Especially as we are getting close to what I would assume are going to be some of these early skirmishes between the two sides. get a lot of power here. You're getting a lot of these itemization capitalizations for both sides, where they're completing those first items. The trade, I know you're oohing about that trade top lane there for FLYC, but I'm oohing about the bottom lane play for FlyQuest because they've got a lot of pressure here. With that Rift Herald, they should be able to topple this because Lens did want to reset, and because he reset, there's no way that Dawnbreak can defend this turret.
Yeah, there is a Kraken on the Aphelios now. With 2-8 is the power of UG showing up with that Herald. That's going to be enough, and a huge first play for FlyQuest. They've now opened up a pretty significant gold lead early.
Yeah, getting themselves 1,500 off of a couple plays where even they didn't pick up the kills from. Yep. That's the big thing. And that's the power of having Static Shiv on your side when you have a Kindred that's already doing a great job too. You have so much lane control. It's so hard for anyone to deal with, and Wildcard are suffering. With the Kha'Zix on your team, you really want to have him a part of some of these delayed skirmishes or try to find someone caught out of position.
I love how Faisal is playing this lane to the top side, that Magical. I think it's really clever from Faisal. Like, a lot of Olafs, they go for the Tiamat. You don't get wave control when you go for the Tiamat. You're seeing Faisal every CS Zumudo goes to hit. He's just trading with an E. Oh, and his Keel.
That Undertow connects. That would have been a death for Keel regardless. Even if you use the ult, but nah, it would be risky. They don't see the bot lane. Look at Dawnbreak still pathing towards the top half of the map. The biggest thing, though, is the fact that Zumudo is so low. And Keel, you shouldn't have tried to fight over that when you just gave over a kill to Yuji. You were right, Cubby. It ended up working out after all.
Saligo's here. He is spotted as Winsome, the priority is playing with Yuji. Do they want to get wild and actually go for something else? No, it's going to be more gold going over to the pockets of FlyQuest, who continue to make good plays. Now Lens, he's going to be in trouble.
Doesn't have the best gun setup either. Waiting it out. Masu wanted to use that Chain of Corruption. Going to use it under the turret, but it will be the cleanse out from Lens, so he will be fine. But now that is going to make him a lot more susceptible to someone like Spyrex jumping over the wall. Even if you got the red white, you didn't want to fight this one. You're trying to heal up the best you can with the back to sword, and you're right into the waiting arms of Yuji. Traded back 1-for-1. Saligo, he teleported in, flashing over the wall, unleashed power, but look at that Land's Respect coming in from Yuji. As Keel's here too, hitting a lot of damage with the Scatter of the Weak. They picked up Masu, looking for Yuji. They're jumping in with the reset there. They got the damage, but it's all Olaf. It's Olaf Gaming, and the flash away from Zumudo. FlyQuest are going to pick up a lot of gold.
Saligo held on to the Scatter for after the Lamb's Respite, but really that lead with ult, it forced Yuji to use it. Maybe if he's able to scatter and ult, Yuji doesn't get that ult off in time to save Masu, but that's what bought all the time. Now, I do want to give some praise to Lens. This was a really good Sever Maul to save his life. So he pops red white, tries to stack it, is actually able to get the ult off right as that hook lands.
Yeah, look at that.
That's a little bit more HP. I know he flashes away, goes down to Yuji, but at least forced Winsome to throw away his life to go for this. Now, check this. Saligo goes for the combo that just will get off Lamb's Respite. If he leads with Scatter, maybe he's able to stun Yuji and execute Masu, but instead he has to save it for when Lamb's Respite pops. And by the time it pops, Faisal lands. Everyone's burned their cooldowns. Olaf's been fed due to good laning from Faisal. He gets to auto and chop through everyone, so it's a FlyQuest win.
FlyQuest win. Faisal goes back into the top lane, and he has gotten to that point with that Trinity Force that there's no way you can side lane against him. Zumudo is so far off having any power spike. That's why this play right here around that Dragon. Keel getting caught out with the depth charge on top of him. They can chase this one down. That means Smite's going to be gone. Picking up the kill over for Yuji, but Spyrex barely dodging away from the crash down.
Oh.
No, you're owing.
On some of the Severums.
It was a good catch, but unfortunately not enough damage. And with Spyrex having TP, wait a minute. Hello? Zumudo?
I mean, the turret went down. It's an inner for FlyQuest, but Zumudo gets a big shutdown on the Olaf. That might get him back into the game as he's actually matched the Triforce now as well. Donbray.
All right, well, maybe I got to take back what I was saying about Zumudo. I thought it was going to take a while for him to get back into the game, but now we got to focus here in the mid lane. They're going to pick on Masu. The TP in. Spyrex immediately dashing towards Donbray, but with him having the stopwatch, he will still fall regardless. Unleash power on Yuji. No Lance Respite to be seen. The Scatter of the Weak. Not enough, though. Lens is hitting and free firing on Winsome. Doesn't connect the Q. Could have been a kill, but they have to fall back.
Sidestep from Winsome there at the end as game's gotten a little bit bloody here, Mad Magical, as we have trades going back and forth. It was, I would say, a really nice execute on Masu. I think the patience from Donbray and the Rel there was actually really good. It forced Masu to recall. or stop the recall, and then they were able to pick him up on the back half. As we check this, FlySol. Okay, ult pop from Zamudo. Oh, I mean, FlySol just is not able to auto. Oh, okay, maybe. I think that one auto came in right before the dodge ended. Just got a little bit too low, and then check this out. Donbre drops the ward there, so he has brief vision, knowing that Moss is there. Really good scatter from Soligo, as it's an easy follow-up then for Wildcard. Donbre, he's dead here, but Soligo, the way that they were able to follow this up, that stopwatch almost bought enough time for another scatter. If they were able to find Yuji, maybe there was an opportunity. Lens did a lot of damage in that fight, just not enough to get anything significant. As he, surprisingly enough, is actually falling a little bit behind the curve compared to Masu.
Yeah, just a little bit. I was going to say, Masu, it's also really easy for him to clear out a lot of these.
Yeah, cheaper items, too.
Cheaper items, so it will take a little bit more time for Masu to get that second item. But I think after just one more wave, he should have enough gold. But he's still got to hang out here in mid lane. You can see how Spyrex wants to play this. He wants to put so much pressure consistently onto Lens, dashing over the wall. There was a lot of damage thrown back, and the scatter of the week on the other side is going to be onto Yuji instead. If the turret topples, Donbre's too low to re-engage. FlyQuest have so much pressure onto Wildcard, they'll get a second charge.
And while all this is going on, FlySol is still topside, just clearing out waves, staying ahead on the Olaf. He is so damn fed.
Calling up a lot of members there from Wildcard just to deal with them. It's really hard to deal with that Olaf, and once he gets to that Death Dance, it's going to be nigh impossible for any of the members outside of Zamudo to really kill him.
I just think the items for FlyQuest right now, it's a 5k gold lead. Kindred is so big this game, as Yuji getting a little bit of revenge against Keel, as Keel was forced out early, definitely was going to be on the back foot as the Kazakhs against a Kindred that had shoving lanes. It's just a little bit too much for Wildcard to deal with, as they have to find their way back into this one. I will say Keel did just ding level 11, so the Spike Racks being evolved is significant and should have a Duskblade on recall. So that is a big spike for Keel, where maybe he's able to use that to separate someone from FlyQuest and at least slow the fights down to land some more scatters, as they're actually going to chase FlySol.
There's one way to be an Olaf, and that is send 4 members to try to deal with him. With the Ragnarok pop, look how much damage he did, but he is kited back. Even if you tried to get the kill on a Keel, they could always kite it back. Soligo, the flash over the wall from the scatter of the week. Spyrex make sure they clean up and get a retribution kill in the bot lane.
That is a nasty flash coming out of Spyrex on the LeBlanc. That's going to be 2 towers falling in punishment to take down FlySol. Great answer from FlyQuest.
They answer, make it even across the board, and because they also have pushed priority in 2 lanes, Wildcard, they don't really gain much from the play. They might get this top lane turret, but that was a lot more picked up by Wildcard.
2 winners. Now, I will say Wildcard, they have to take back control of the map. They're answering waves at the moment. If they can maybe sneak into this bot side jungle, get some control for the Dragon, they can maybe separate some members of FlyQuest and try and get kills off that. So a lot of it's just going to be about Kazakhs plus Syndra winning that, or trying to find skirmishes where these two do well. Where Zamudo is able to secure that. 55 seconds away. Blanc will answer that top side. Wildcard are going to pick up their buffs in the top side jungle, and then everyone should be shifting down to this bot side to try and contest the Dragon. I know it's just a Cloud, but hey, Cloud does have some value this game for some of our members. Very valuable on someone like a Kazakhs Jax Olaf.
And I also want to talk about Yuji. 8 stacks now on the Kindred. A lot. You were already looking about the power of Yuji beforehand. That is a lot of stacks already.
That's more than 7.
So already hitting 2 thresholds now as that extra damage. And when we look at this fight, you can tell the idea is to get on top of Keel and make it so that this Kazakhs cannot assassinate anybody.
Trying to use the guns they have right now to get something done, as Zamudo might get caught.
Taking a lot of damage there from Kindred. Got to give a lot of respect over to them. That is going to hurt with all that extra damage.
And he's going to recall on a ward. Okay, never mind. Just refreshed by Winston. As Spyrex will get chunked.
It's chunked,
combo from Keel. Plus 68 gold. Take those.
But look at how Spyrex is still playing. Looking for the play on the other side, and heals right back up.
I mean, look at this control coming out of FlyQuest. Spyrex is zoning everyone off. It's halfway done. Keel is half health.
Yeah, how does Keel get in here? Look at Winsome as well. That's first down before anyone can answer. Now the fight afterwards. Can he at least pick up a couple kills? Depth charge on a Keel, but he's far away from the team. They don't need to, but man, that's a lot of damage with that snipe there from Masu. They continue to harass and take everyone down of Wildcard. They even got the chase potential. UG slowed down, though, by Lens, but doesn't matter because they already got the push top lane.
And, I mean, FlyQuest, the way they've been able to snowball their lead this game has been so good. I mean, 3K gold just out of their pockets first in him. And I love how it just takes a chunk onto Keel the jungler to turn this into a game.
But Lens, he almost had it, but that Landry's fight was perfect time there. And they jump right to the back line. FlyQuest, they get revenge here with that Turo Baron buff right at the bitter end. Because it's only a 22-minute game. They're going to end this one, split the series evenly against Wildcard.
I mean, short try to victory after that. FlyQuest making things, I mean, I think that game was closer than what it's going to say, like, on this 22-minute end for FlyQuest. Yeah. It's just, at the end of the game, Wildcard, all it took was a chunk onto Keel. And FlyQuest said, hey, our Kindred is fed as hell. We can just hit this Baron and go from there. And that's exactly what ended up happening as, honestly, curious best of two. I was kind of expecting a split coming out, but the manner in which it happened in each of our games, I think it really highlighted the strength of each of the junglers on these teams. And obviously, FlyQuest play well as a team in that game, too. I think they played with their priority really well.
Yeah, as do I. I think that they were able to utilize UG a lot. Looking at how the lane states were, invading a lot, putting Keel behind right out of the get-go. That's why they pick up that second game. They split the series at 1 apiece, Cubby. But we're going to toss it to a break so that we can come back to you with an interview with the victorious FlyQuest Challengers.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Verizon post-game interview. I'm joined by the support for FlyQuest Challengers. I've got Winsome with me. And, man, you guys always get us in the first half. You always are able to come back after rough first outings. You guys have had some really insane comeback stories, at least in a lot of your series. What is the key? Who is the driving force? What happens between games to make sure you come out swinging in game twos?
I think everyone played well, and then I think it was Kindred looks like broken, honestly. So we easily win, I guess.
So grab Kindred for second games. I like it. All right. Now it's another split growing alongside Masu. What would you guys say you changed coming into the split, and what do you feel like has worked well for you so far?
I mean, me and Masu try to getting more aggressive play for in line phase, especially try. And then if it sometimes it fails, sometimes we work it. We can know exactly what's good and bad. I think. So I think I think we try more aggressive. And then we just recognize what is good play or bad play.
Okay. And speaking of that decisiveness, I feel like that is a concept you guys have found a lot of progress with this split. Speaking of decisiveness, who is the one that's making the turnaround calls? Who is the one that's saying, we can end the game right now? Because you guys have had so many games like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think FlyQuest play Olaf. First game he lose, and then he say just give me Olaf, and then just we follow, and then just destroying destroying the enemy. So it was maybe good troll. I think. Oh
my God, it's so cute. Oh, that was Cubby. Is there a new puppy in the office?
Yeah. It's happened. I forgot, but it was really huge dog. That's Katsu.
Oh my God! Also, what amazing entrance to the dog. You do have your split pressing on though. We are halfway through the weekend at least, but you still have another day tomorrow. What is your goal personally, Winsome, for the second half of the season?
I mean, honestly, I think we trying to figure out what is our good comp, like kind of in the split space. So, and then we just set up for the build up, like kind of for playoffs, and then and then we will find the greatest comp in the split space. So it's gonna be for sure we win the NACL. It's gonna be goal. Personally,
right. Yeah, get some good goals. Now you were talking to me beforehand though, saying meta's a little bit boring. I'd rather play some, you know, some engagers, things like that. Do you have any thoughts on the meta in general? Do you have any thoughts to spice things up as well?
I mean, this meta, like Milu, Yumi, kind of the utility champion getting nerfed, so it can try more like a lot of tank champion like Leonardo Nautilus kind of, and especially Rail 2. So yeah, it's gonna be for fun for me, honestly. I like it playing the CC champion. I'm really confident about that. So yeah, it's good.
Can't wait to see you pull him out, man. I want to give you a chance to give some shout outs here before we let you go.
Shout out?
Yeah, you want to give anybody you want to talk about, anybody you want to praise, or anything you want to talk about?
Thank you for watching from Korea, my friends. My friends. Yeah. Bye bye.
All right. I appreciate you so much, Winsome. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll get to talk to you again and keep it on up.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take the reins. We're going to send it to a short little break while we get ready for our final series of the day. Don't you go anywhere.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace. Find your drive.